David Jeremiah is a well-known and respected Christian who has dedicated his life to preaching the gospel and educating others on the teachings of the Bible. He oversees a vibrant and engaged congregation, known for his optimism and unwavering faith as the senior pastor of a popular and rapidly growing Christian church. On the other hand, is his personal life all that rosy? What problems is he facing? Let's find out more about his past and the obstacles he still faces. The silo in the dream. Regularly, David takes a minute to sit and think about his history, specifically a vivid memory from more than 70 years ago that has remained with him. This is something that he thinks to be a significant spiritual experience that had a significant impact on his life and his perspectives. A brilliant summer day from his boyhood, when he was around 12 years old, was spent at his uncle's farm, a location that was full of exciting experiences and valuable teachings. He remembers this day so vividly. His eyes sparkle with a sense of melancholy as he recalls the time when my uncle had two silos standing next to each other. He decided to climb outside of one of the silos because he was driven by the enthusiasm and sense of adventure that comes with being young. His strategy was not only straightforward, but also thrilling. The only thing he wanted to do was take a quick look inside the silage and take in the scenery from the top. Nevertheless, his heart plummeted when he reached the top and gazed at the building inside. It came as a complete surprise to him. The silo that he had selected was devoid of silage, which would have cushioned the impact of a fall. Having come to terms with the gravity of the situation, he reflected on the fact that he had made a mistake and chosen the vacant option. If I had taken just one more step, I may have been able to avert the situation. He was overwhelmed with fear when he concluded that he had nearly avoided that fall. Despite his shaking and trembling, he made his way down the silo with caution, feeling an overwhelming sense of thankfulness for the opportunity that had been presented to him. This was not a simple childhood trip by any stretch of the imagination. He would carry that event with him for the rest of his life, since it became a defining moment. The narrative of David serves as a powerful metaphor for the unpredictability of life and the value of choosing decisions after giving them careful consideration. It is consistent with his concept of faith and the knowledge that he imparts to others that the lesson he gained that day on the farm is applicable. The journey we take through life is laden with difficulties, and the choices we make can occasionally lead to unanticipated dangers. On the other hand, it is frequently via these experiences, whether they are happy or negative, that we acquire knowledge, develop, and become more equipped to deal with challenges in the future. This recollection from my youth serves as a powerful reminder of how our experiences from the past, even those that may appear to be unimportant, may prepare us for the problems we face in the present and the opportunities that lie ahead. This particular moment brought to Jeremiah's attention the precarious aspect of life and the need to make decisions after having given them careful consideration. Through his lectures and writings, he encourages people to have confidence in God's plan and to identify the vital lessons that are woven into their life journeys. He does this by tapping into the insights obtained from such experiences, which he uses to inspire and guide others. The powerful impact that our formative experiences have on us is shown by David Jeremiah's recollection of that momentous day spent at his uncle's farm. Our views of danger, safety, and faith are shaped by these events, and they lead us along a path that leads to insight and opportunities for personal development. When it comes to the intricate fabric of life, every thread and experience contributes to the rich narrative of who we are and who we are destined to make ourselves into. Jeremiah exhibits the essence of his philosophy as he continues to tackle the obstacles and opportunities that come his way. He encourages all of us to reflect on our history, treasure the present, and have faith in the divine direction that shapes our destiny. During his formative years, David Jeremiah had a period of remarkable growth and development, which was fostered by a loving family, a deeply ingrained religion, and a community that provided support. Because of these formative experiences, the foundation was laid for a life that would be committed to sharing the gospel and making a difference in the lives of other people. While Jeremiah and his siblings were growing up in a home that was oriented on their faith, they benefited from the unwavering support and guidance that their parents provided. Although he was born in Ohio in 1941, his family moved about quite a bit within the state, since his father had positions as a pastor and as the president of a college he attended. In addition to serving as a pastor on two separate occasions, his father, James T. Jeremiah, was also a devout minister who made an indelible mark on a great number of people via his ministry. While David was 11 years old, his family relocated to Dayton, Ohio, where his father became the pastor of Emmanuel Baptist Church. David's family has lived there ever since. The Jeremiah family went through a number of relocations as a result of this shift, all of which were done in the name of ministry. Later on, he rose through the ranks to become the long-serving president of Cedarville University, where he had a significant amount of influence over a large number of employees and students. While this was going on, their mother, Ruby, contributed endless hours to the institution, setting an example of selflessness and commitment that would serve as a source of motivation for her children. Jeremiah's perspective was significantly influenced by his upbringing in a religiously oriented atmosphere, which also served as a solid basis for his future activities. It was the principles of faith, community, and purpose that were instilled in him at home that created the foundation of his ministry. These principles served as a compass for him when he went on his journey of preaching and teaching. David Jeremiah's road to becoming a pastor is pretty remarkable, especially when one considers the fact that he first enrolled at Cedarville University with no intention of pursuing a career in the ministry. One of his first objectives was to acquire a degree in English and investigate the possibility of pursuing a career in radio broadcasting. This was a path that appeared to be an excellent fit for his great communication abilities and his passion for telling stories. Nevertheless, life had other things in store for him. During the junior year of his high school career, David was surprised by a phone call from his father on a Friday evening that appeared to be completely normal. Surprisingly, the request was granted. Given that their pastor was unavailable for the weekend, would he be willing to preach at a church that was geographically close to him? The whole thought of assuming the role of the preacher. David was inspired by his father, who was an experienced preacher. His father told him, "All you need to do, David, is share your testimony and talk about what matters to you from the Word of God. They are going to be grateful to have you." David and his fiancée Donna, who would eventually become his wife, made the decision to go to the church and give it a go. They did so with a mixture of reluctance and curiosity about the experience. It was initially a one-time request, but it rapidly turned into a series of requests for him to come back and preach every week. He had an increasing sense of ease and connection with the crowd each time he ascended the platform he was speaking in front of. It was at that moment that God made it very obvious to me that this is your calling. Your calling is to serve as a pastor. David pondered the life-altering event that had transformed his life and changed his path. After gaining this fresh comprehension of his mission, he started his career at Hayden Heights Baptist Church in New Jersey, where he served as a youth pastor. As a result of David's passion for mentoring and working with young people, he was a perfect fit for the position. This allowed him to form relationships with younger generations and assist them on their spiritual journeys. Nonetheless, he was soon confronted with a fresh and more difficult obstacle. An interesting opportunity to head Black Hawk Baptist Church, a congregation that had not yet been established, was presented to him by a friend of the family. David revealed to his buddy that he had never given much thought to the possibility of establishing a new church. He was afraid of the responsibility that would come with undertaking such a huge venture. Even though the concept of constructing a church from the ground up appeared to be intimidating, he felt a great impulse to pray for direction on how to begin. He began to have a feeling of clarity as he became more committed to praying and reflecting on his life. It was clear to David that this was not only a chance, rather, it was a calling that he could not ignore. As a result of his willingness to take on the task, he accepted the post, and Black Hawk Baptist Church found success under his leadership. As a result of his leadership, the congregation expanded to an astonishing 1,500 members, and during his time, they even created a school, which was a notable accomplishment that highlighted the church's commitment to education and community service. The journey that David took from being an English major with dreams of becoming a radio host to becoming a recognized preacher is illustrative of how life may force us to take unexpected turns in the direction of our real calling. For many years, he has committed himself to the care and development of his congregation, to the dissemination of the teachings of the Bible, and the direction of a great number of persons on their respective spiritual journeys. The fact that he went from being a hesitant preacher to being a famous pastor is illustrative of the significant influence that a supernatural calling may have on the life of an individual. While David is reflecting on his trip, He constantly emphasizes the significance of remaining open to the guidance that God may provide and the unexpected paths that may present themselves. His narrative motivates a great number of people, urging them to maintain an open mind on the opportunities that faith may provide. David Jeremiah's constant commitment to disseminating the message of God is felt all around the world, whether he is speaking to big audiences, writing books, or appearing on television. Many years ago, his father made a crucial phone call that marked the beginning of this life-changing trip. In the course of his ministry, Jeremiah has realized that every chance and difficulty has played a significant role in the formation of his identity. It is through his experiences that we learn the significance of having faith in God's plan and being open to the unknown. In his current role as a pastor, author, and public speaker, David Jeremiah serves as a beacon of hope and faith, inspiring others to find their divine calling, just as he did on that unforgettable summer day a very long time ago. The ministry. Over 12 years, Jeremiah devoted his life to serving at Black Hawk Baptist Church in Fort Wayne, Indiana. This was the beginning of his career in the ministry. It was at this period that he acquired a genuine zeal for spreading the gospel, particularly with individuals who were looking for spiritual assistance. He also improved his preaching talents during this time. As a result of his constant dedication and influential ministry, he quickly gained recognition, which ultimately led him to Shadow Mountain Community Church in San Diego, where he has been serving in a remarkable capacity for the past 43 years. Jeremiah has left behind a legacy that is marked by faith, compassion, and a strong desire to transmit the love of God. This heritage has been created over several decades at Shadow Mountain. Jeremiah thinks about the major situations that have inspired his calling as he looks back on his life and considers how they have shaped him. He recounts an incident that occurred when he was a youngster at his uncle's farm and says, "God protected me on that day." According to him, he would not be able to do his current duties if it were not for the protection that God provides. His conviction that every event and difficulty has been a part of a broader plan created by God is strengthened by the fact that he acknowledges the existence of supernatural guidance from above. Jeremiah is aware that his profession extends beyond the realm of simple work obligations. This is a calling that is infused with a more meaningful purpose. To convince me that my dream was too modest, he asked me to preach. The awareness that Jeremiah has grasped his mission and destiny is shown in this perceptive conclusion. Not only does he consider his mission to be a responsibility, but he also considers it to be a divine mandate, which motivates him to extend his perspective and reach out to a world that is searching for redemption and hope. It was the same spirit of interest that drove him to scale the silo on his uncle's farm in the past, and it is the same curiosity that inspires him to persevere in his quest to share the gospel. Jeremiah made a significant decision to accept Christ when he was only 13 years old. This choice would end up having a significant impact on the trajectory of his life. Since that time, he has made it his personal mission to investigate every conceivable approach to disseminate the message that the Savior has to offer. According to his Turning Point ministry, his sermons have the ability to capture an astounding 1.5 million listeners each week, hence having a tremendous influence on the lives of countless individuals. His words of faith, hope, and encouragement have a profound resonance, and they reach people from a wide variety of backgrounds. The fact that his sermons were sent to approximately 2.95 million households over the course of the previous year demonstrates the significant reach that his ministry, writings, and activities have had. The ministry of Jeremiah extends much beyond merely preaching. There are over 100 books that he has written, all of which are vital for anyone who is looking to grow spiritually and get deeper knowledge. His writings strike a chord with a large number of readers, and they are also adapted into video training programs that are utilized in churches throughout the country, which further amplifies his effect. The fact that Jeremiah has never wavered in his determination to disseminate the love and wisdom of God through a variety of outlets demonstrates his dedication to his purpose. His goal is to equip individuals with the resources they need to successfully traverse their religious journeys, whether it is through his sermons, written works, or educational materials. His life is a shining example of the great influence that religion can have, and the difference that a person can make when they truly accept the role that God has for them. Of the numerous volumes of Jeremiah, there are 5 that stand out as particularly noteworthy, as stated by members and supporters of the organization. Permit me to give you a little introduction to each of them. 31 Unequivocal Prophecies of the End of the World, are contained inside the Book of Signs. This novel is perhaps the one that he is most recognized for. The book digs into the prophecies of the Bible. It is well liked since it provides lucid explanations and is pertinent to the events that are occurring right now. This intriguing look at the major characters is presented in the book Agents of the Apocalypse. This book, which is based on the concept of prophecy, investigates the personalities and forces that, according to the writings of the Bible, it enables one to have a more profound comprehension of the individuals and occurrences that are foretold in the Bible. Exactly what is going on in this world? By establishing a connection between contemporary events and biblical prophecy, this book provides a framework for seeing the world through the perspective of Christianity. Particularly pertinent for those who are attempting to make sense of the difficult circumstances in which we currently find ourselves is this: Signs of God's Providence in a Disturbing New World. In this book, the author delves into the topic of future worries and how to remain faithful to God's providence when faced with uncertainty. Readers who are troubled by the world as it is right now can get solace and inspiration in this book. The book Overcomer lays forth 8 distinct ways to overcome any obstacle in your path and live a life of unwavering faith, tremendous power, and strength. In contrast to the books of prophecy, this one focuses on developing one's character and one's faith. The book is based on passages from Ephesians 6:10-18, which give practical guidance on how to overcome challenges and live a successful Christian life. In David Jeremiah's canon, these 5 books rank high among his most famous and popular pieces. Not only do they provide light on biblical prophecy, Christian life, and personal development, but they also showcase his talent for lucidly and entertainingly explaining complex theological topics. Feedback on the works he has published. His literary style, according to certain readers, lacks theological intricacy and profundity. His writings, in their view, are more suited to people seeking an introduction to Christianity or general Christian knowledge than to those seeking a thorough theological analysis. Concerning Jeremiah's connections with other Christian leaders who hold contentious theological views, some have voiced their disapproval. They are doubtful if his partnerships are in keeping with the values he has stated and have questioned his judgment in managing them. In a nutshell, some people think his ministry is more focused on branding and marketing rather than on genuine spiritual matters. The fact that he makes use of his honorary doctorate rather than a degree obtained via formal education is being used as a marketing tactic. I feel it's necessary to emphasize that these are only the opinions of a small number of people. Many others find value in David Jeremiah's writings. Despite these criticisms, Jeremiah keeps penning novels that receive rave reviews. How does he go about instructing his students? Shall we see what they have to say about his models of preaching? Worldwide renown and acclaim, Dr. David Jeremiah and Turning Point Ministries are based in San Diego, but their influence goes well beyond the city's borders. The radio and television shows produced by Turning Point are available to a wide audience since they are translated into several languages and aired in numerous countries. They can reach even more people if they make sermons, materials, and other content available on demand through their website and social media in several languages. Programs on a global scale. This committed affiliate's goal is to strengthen ties with churches and ministries all around the globe in order to disseminate the gospel. They equip Christians and help local churches through the global distribution of resources such as books and study materials. In order to connect with and encourage Christians worldwide, Turning Point organizes mission trips and conferences on a regular basis. Turning Point hosts the annual Reach the World Day event, which centers around global evangelism. This involves reaching more people with the message of Christ via the use of influential films and publications. The featured films have been translated into many languages, expanding their reach to audiences throughout the globe. One way Turning Point is helping to build a global community of believers is through its online presence, which allows it to engage with people from all over the globe. Their online resources include interactive Bible studies, devotionals, and more. There has been a worldwide impact on Christ, teaching techniques, and reactions due to Dr. Jeremiah and Turning Point's gospel spreading. They are actively interacting with online audiences, prioritizing overseas cooperation, and embracing technology and translation to do this. David Jeremiah's life and career are propelled by his immense devotion to the Bible, especially its teachings and prophecies. He devotes a considerable amount of time every week to meticulously preparing his sermons, which he approaches with unfaltering zeal. Planning a sermon, in Jeremiah's view, entails more than just making an outline. Words are carefully chosen by him. He makes sure every sentence connects with the listeners and conveys the teachings of the Bible in the best way possible. He hopes to inspire and encourage those who come to hear him speak, in addition to enlightening them. He is dedicated to reaching this objective, as his excitement as he gets ready for Sunday is contagious. Paul Joyner, who is the chief creative officer and executive producer of Turning Point, claims that every time I ask Dr. Jeremiah what motivates him, he always says, Sunday. Joyner, who has collaborated with Jeremiah for 30 years, stresses the persistence of this devotion. Joyner adds that one consistent theme throughout Jeremiah's ministry has been his unwavering commitment to his calling. This fervor is caused by more than just the sermon itself. His commitment to sharing God's word and fostering spiritual development within his congregation is exemplified by this. His humility and real care for the people in his community at Shadow Mountain Community Church are plain to see, and anybody who knows him can confirm that his enthusiasm goes beyond the pulpit. Rumor has it that he is a deeply committed man who is always willing to lend a listening ear or offer a helping hand to those in need within his church. His co-workers and friends agree with this assessment of him. Because he knows that no one should ever walk the road of faith alone, this aspect of his ministry that emphasizes connections is crucial. He takes the time to get to know the members of his congregation, making an effort to be there for them and make sure they feel loved and valued as they grow spiritually. The way Jeremiah teaches is seen by many as overly simplistic and lacking in the depth and complexity needed to tackle major theological issues. Some have argued that his writings and sermons are better suited for people seeking an introduction to Christianity or beginning materials than for those seeking a deep dive into theology. Still, others have cast doubt on his associations with other Christian leaders because of the odd or controversial views they espouse. His judgment and the impact of these partnerships on the consistency of his teaching are called into doubt by the fact that this is the case. His teachings, according to some academics, fail to address the complex social and cultural issues of our day. This means that some of his audience members could have trouble seeing how his teachings apply to their own lives. Would you like to know anything about the pastor's personal life? What strategies does a pastor employ to overcome personal challenges while preaching a message of faith and hope? Marriage and personal life. David Jeremiah and his wife Donna have a beautiful love story that starts in college when she is a cheerleader and he is a basketball player. Donna cheered for the squad. The significance of Jeremiah's dedication to Donna, who has been an integral part of his life since the beginning, surpasses even his unfaltering devotion to God. The fact that they have remained connected all these years is a beautiful example of a faith-based relationship. Roy Rogers, one of his closest friends, told a touching story about how much they respected one another. Jumping into Rogers' car on a Sunday morning, Jeremiah was about to head to church when he had the shocking epiphany that he had neglected to kiss Donna goodbye. Roy, could you perhaps get Donna for me? Her kiss slipped my mind. He showed his amiable side by asking. Rogers hurried back inside as he attempted to tell Donna that Pastor had neglected to kiss her. She came out to greet him, her face lighting up with anticipation, and he returned the gesture with a quick kiss. It is a lovely sight to witness how they still show their love for one another after 60 years of marriage. Their love for one another will remain forever, and this moment shows it beautifully. The one thing that motivates Jeremiah to achieve anything is his deep love and devotion to Donna, his wife of 61 wonderful years. His personal life and ministry are deeply rooted in their union. All the ups and downs of family life haven't stopped them from sticking together and helping one another through thick and thin. Jeremiah never stops saying how much he appreciates Donna and how her unwavering support was crucial to his success on their path together. Their partnership is defined by love and respect for one another, which forms a solid basis for their personal lives and missionary work. The 4 children they raised with them have all gone their ways, but they've all kept close to the legacy of faith and service that their parents and grandparents left behind. David Michael, the eldest son and current president of Turning Point, is at the helm. David Michael is continuing his father's work in this position, while also bringing his own ideas to the company. His guidance has shown the Jeremiah family's dedication to sharing the word. Daniel, another son, works as a football analyst for the NFL Network. His father's favorite team, the Los Angeles Chargers, is the one for whom he offers color commentary. He describes the Jeremiah family as having a positive impact in many areas, including his love of sports and broadcasting and their strong religious beliefs. Jennifer, their daughter, is deeply committed to Shadow Mountain's women's ministry, where she serves to uphold the church's mission by uplifting women on their paths to spiritual maturity. The youngest sibling, Jan, is an event designer who puts her talents to work by planning community events and gatherings that strengthen relationships within the worship community and invite more people to get involved. Because every child acts in accordance with the principles instilled in them by their parents, is proof that a nurturing and religious childhood has a positive impact. In his ministry, Jeremiah reflects his family's commitment by encouraging his congregation to prioritize their relationships with family while also improving their faith. In his teachings, the importance of family is often emphasized, showing how solid connections may help people on their path to spiritual enlightenment. A large portion of the church's membership finds inspiration in his teachings because of the comprehensive nature of his beliefs. David Jeremiah's passion for the Bible remains unwavering, even as he imparts his profound wisdom and expertise. He is cognizant of the gravity of his position and the power his words hold to change the world for the better for people who hear him speak. He is passionate about giving relevant sermons because he wants to genuinely fulfill his vocation and help people get closer to God. At 83 years old, David has had his share of health issues, both in the past and presently. This is not surprising. We should start by talking about the disturbing news about his health right now. We need to resolve health issues. Among the many obstacles that Jeremiah has had to overcome, his battles with cancer in 1994 and 1998 stand out. Despite testing his mettle, these health problems ultimately served to deepen his faith. Because to his stem cell transplant, he is now cancer-free. His deep appreciation for life and the need of sustaining meaningful relationships are direct outcomes of those trying times. According to those closest to Jeremiah, he is presently coping with a new medical challenge. Although he now preaches from a chair, his former towering stature allowed him to stand tall at the platform of Shadow Mountain Community Church. He was celebrating his return from vacation on the 3rd of September 2023, when he suddenly lost control of his right side. Because of this, he ended himself in the hospital, where doctors diagnosed him with an extremely uncommon spinal cord condition that hampers his ability to communicate with his body. In August of last year, he had a month off from preaching due to a serious health problem caused by his recent struggle with transverse myelitis, an incredibly rare infection. Even though Jeremiah has found it difficult to sit down and deliver his sermons, he continues to tackle this new chapter with the same dogged determination he has shown his whole life. Even though it's been quite challenging, he claims that I am gradually recovering from it. Rogers and Dennis Stover are among his pals who help him out as he recovers by taking turns driving him to appointments and activities. Both emotionally and practically, their relationship is there for each other. Stover notes that Jeremiah's behavior remains consistent from Sunday to Monday, highlighting that his character and integrity remain unchanged. At Scripps Hospital, Jeremiah underwent extensive testing and therapy for almost a month. We urgently want more information and understanding of diseases like his, since they are rare and complex. Jeremiah is now focusing on getting well and getting back into rehabilitation. He maintains his twice-weekly therapy schedule to regain his strength and mobility. During this challenging time, he relied on his faith and the love and support of his family and neighbors. Many find encouragement in his narrative, which shows how one can persevere through difficult times by drawing on their faith. How does Pastor Jeremiah envision things coming to fruition? Doctor. Jeremiah is committed to his ministry despite the fact that his schedule has been disrupted by his present health concerns. Jeremiah is very passionate about two things: preaching the gospel and teaching others about the Bible. Turning Point and Shadow Mountain Community Church have informed him of his willingness to continue his ministerial activities. His focus right now is on getting well and getting back on his feet. After this is done, he may need to continue receiving therapy and medical attention until he regains his strength and mobility. The upcoming Golden Age's outreach effort is this. The forthcoming Golden Age is at the heart of Turning Point's upcoming autumn outreach program. The campaign delves into themes of hope and ultimate redemption grounded on biblical prophecy. It appears that Dr. Jeremiah is still actively involved in guiding the ministry's strategic direction. Dr. Jeremiah will likely need to have his workload and schedule adjusted while he recovers. He may have to cut back on his travel or hire someone else to do some of his job if this happens. Doctor. Jeremiah's dedication to his ministry and faith remains strong despite the challenges he is facing. His continuous recuperation and future endeavors have the potential to inspire and motivate his admirers, even after he returns home. An incredible testimony to a life committed to fulfilling God's plan for David Jeremiah is the journey he undertook. He has been a model of faith, commitment, and compassion from his formative years as a youngster, molded by his parents all the way up to the present day, in his vast ministry activity. He became a leader who motivates many others as a result of his formative years, and the constant love and encouragement he got from his family. Because he keeps on preaching and teaching, Jeremiah is an inspiration. In his example, we see how each moment prepares us for future trials and opportunities when we follow God's plan. I was wondering whether you've ever picked up a book by David Jeremiah. Post your thoughts in the comments and hit that like button. To access more enthralling stories, subscribe to the channel and then click the next video that shows on your screen. Thank you for tuning in.